My brother called my daughter's gift cheap junk, so I took back everything I ever gave him. My name is Sarah. I'm a project manager at a logistics firm, and I make about $85,000 a year. On paper, I've got it all together. Good job. Stable income. Single mom to my amazing 8-year-old daughter, Ellie. But what people don't see is how, for years, I've been the one quietly holding my entire family together, paying their bills, covering their rent, bailing out my brother every time he messes up, until one day, it all fell apart. You ever hand someone a gift straight from your kid's heart and watch them crush it like it's trash? Yeah, that happened. And the person who did it was my own brother. Ha ha ha, yeah. I still can't say that without my stomach twisting. It was supposed to be a good day, his birthday. Balloons, music, family. You know, the usual pretend we all get along kind of vibe. My daughter Ellie, she's 8, tiny hands, big heart, had been working for weeks on this little wooden jewelry box she carved herself in art club. Painted it teal, glued on sparkly gems she saved from her allowance. Uncle Sean's gonna love it, she told me, grinning ear to ear. So there we are, in Sean's backyard. Everyone's laughing, plates of barbecue, beers popping open, that fake warmth families put on when the cameras are out. Ellie's bouncing, clutching her gift. She walks up so proud, so pure. "Happy birthday, Uncle Sean," she says, handing him the box wrapped in pink paper with little stars. And this man, this 40-year-old grown man, picks it up, squints at it like it's a dead bug and goes, "What's this cheap junk?" The music kinda hiccups right there. Like the Bluetooth speaker even felt the awkward. My mom half laughs. My dad sips his beer like he didn't hear it. And I'm standing frozen, burger in hand, thinking, no way he just said that out loud. Then he does something worse. He smirks, like that smug, I own the room smirk, and tosses the box back at her. Not gentle, not playful, just tosses it. It hits her shoulder and drops into the grass, the little gem popping off and rolling under the picnic table. Ellie's face crumples, man. That kind of pain you can't fake. Her lip wobbles, eyes shiny. She looks at me like, "Mom, what did I do wrong?" And my heart, ugh, it just broke right there. I swear, time slowed down. The sound of people chewing, the stupid country song in the background, the clink of bottles. It all blurred. I looked at Sean, waiting for him to realize how cruel that was, waiting for anyone to say something. But nah, my parents just chuckled. My mom actually said, "Oh, Sean, you always joke too rough." Like it was a comedy skit, and I didn't move. I just froze. You ever feel that wave of embarrassment so strong it burns? That's what it felt like. My daughter crying quietly beside me. The gift she made with her whole heart lying broken in the dirt. And everyone pretending it's fine. In that moment, something inside me snapped. Quietly. Like a rubber band pulled for too many years finally giving up. See? This wasn't the first time Sean acted entitled. Nope, not by a long shot. He's the family golden boy, always borrowing, always promising, always forgiven. And me, the responsible one. The fixer. The one who paid his bills when he just needed a few weeks. The one who covered mom and dad's rent when their checks ran short. But this was different. Because you can insult me all you want, I'll probably just shrug it off. But you hurt my kid? Nah. That's when the line disappears. I bent down, picked up the box, dusted it off, and held Ellie's hand. She whispered, "Mom, did Uncle Sean not like it?" And I swear I could feel tears fighting to spill. But I smiled instead and said, "He doesn't deserve it, sweetheart." Then I turned, smiled at the table full of fake laughter, and said, "We're heading out. Enjoy your party." Sean just laughed, this half-drunk, mocking laugh. "Oh, come on, sis. Don't be so sensitive. It's a joke." A joke. That word echoed in my head all the way to the car. By the time I buckled Ellie in and saw her still staring at that box in her lap, I knew something was about to change. Not just between me and Sean, but between me and my entire family. Because that little moment, that was the last time I let any of them treat us like we didn't matter. What came next? Even I didn't see it coming. You ever look back and realize every single red flag was waving right in your face? But you still told yourself it was just the wind? Yeah, that was me. with Sean. I swear growing up my brother could have sold ice to an Eskimo. Smooth talker. Big dreams. Zero follow-through. Every time he fell flat, I was the one with a safety net waiting, usually made of my money. See, when Mom and Dad retired, their finances went downhill faster than a shopping cart on a hill. And Sean? He sure wasn't stepping up. Nah, he was working on something big. There was always a new something big. A food truck idea. Then a podcast. Then a handcrafted candle brand that lasted all of 3 weeks. And me? I was the sucker believing him every time. I paid their rent for 8 years straight. 8 years, dude. Covered their electric, their internet, their little emergency fund that never stopped being an emergency. And Sean, I once loaned him $70,000. Yeah, 70 grand. That's not a typo. He swore up and down it was to open his pottery shop in downtown Tucson. Cute little artsy spot, tourists, handmade mugs, all that. He had spreadsheets, projections, a business plan that looked legit. Said he'd use his 2019 BMW as collateral. I believed him. Family helps family, right? That's what Mom always drilled into us. So I co-signed. Dumbest move of my life. For a while, it looked like it was working. He made payments on time, posted pictures of himself with clay all over his hands, big grin, caption like, "Hustle never sleeps." I was proud. I really was. Thought maybe, finally, he'd grown up. But then, the payments slowed. 1 month late. Then 2. Then excuses. Clay shortages. Tourists dried up. Supply chain issues. You name it. And there I was. Still paying Mom and Dad's rent like clockwork. Watching my savings drain while my brother lived like an Instagram entrepreneur. I didn't want to believe it. I told myself, he's just struggling right now. But man, when you ignore reality long enough, it punches you in the face. Hard. And you know the worst part? Mom and Dad acted like I owed it. Like it was my job to keep the whole ship afloat. Whenever I hinted I was tired of carrying everyone, Mom would go, "You make good money, honey. You can afford it." Dad just nodded, chewing on his toothpick like that was wisdom. It wasn't wisdom. It was entitlement, plain and simple. By the time that birthday party rolled around, I'd already hit my breaking point. I just didn't know it yet. I thought I was being the good daughter, the good sister. You know the type, always showing up, always fixing things, always saying, "It's fine, I'll handle it." But when Sean called Ellie's handmade gift cheap junk, it was like every favor. Every dollar, every sleepless night boiled over into that 1 second. And maybe it sounds crazy, but in that moment, I saw things crystal clear. The man who threw my kid's gift wasn't just being rude. He was showing me exactly what our whole family thought of me. A walking wallet with a pulse, nothing more. So yeah, that drive home that night? Quiet, painfully quiet. Ellie fell asleep clutching that box in her lap, and I just gripped the steering wheel, eyes on the dark highway, replaying every little betrayal in my head. Every "I'll pay you back next month." Every "You're such a lifesaver." Every "You wouldn't let your own family struggle, would you?" Well, maybe I finally would. Because something in me shifted that night. That quiet little fixer voice inside me, she packed her bags and left. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do yet, but I knew one thing for sure. Sean was about to learn what "you're on your own" really means. And trust me. The fallout? Oh, it was wild. The next morning, I woke up with that heavy pit-in-your-gut feeling. You know when you sleep on anger and it doesn't fade, it just simmers hotter? Yeah. That Ellie was at the table, spooning cereal, still quiet. Her cheek had this faint little red mark where that box hit her. My stomach flipped, just seeing it. I kissed her forehead and said, "Hey, how about pancakes this weekend? Just us girls." She smiled a little, but it didn't reach her eyes. That's when I knew. I couldn't let this slide. Not this time. After I dropped her at school, I parked in the driveway and just sat there, car still running. You ever feel that switch flip? That I'm done being the doormat moment? That was it. I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and scrolled through the auto-pay list. Rent for Mom and Dad, $300, due in 3 days. Sean's pottery loan, still active, payments stalled for months. And my dumb signature right there next to his name. My thumb hovered over the screen. I could hear his stupid laugh from the party echoing in my head. "Don't be so sensitive, sis. It's a joke. Click. Auto pay for rent. Cancelled. Click. Transfer authorization for Sean's loan. Revoked. Just like that. 8 years of being their safety net, gone. My hands were shaking, but not from guilt. It felt like breathing fresh air after years underwater. About an hour later, my phone buzzed. Guess who? Sean. Yo, sis. His voice came through all casual. You got that rent money set up for the folks, right? I promised them it'd clear by Friday. I took a slow breath. Not this time, I said. Pause, like he didn't even process it. Wait, what? You mean you're late or something? No, I said. I mean I'm done. I'm not paying their rent anymore, or yours, or anything. There was this stunned silence. Then this snort laugh like he thought I was bluffing. Ha ha ha, come on, you're not serious. I smiled. He couldn't see it, but it was there. Dead serious. He started going off, his voice all sharp and defensive. So what, you're just gonna let Mom and Dad get evicted? You know they can't afford it. Then maybe their favorite son should step up for once, I said. You got a BMW sitting in the driveway, right? Maybe trade that for a conscience. Click. I hung up. I sat there for a minute, heart pounding, half shaking, half grinning. That felt good. Like dangerously good. By noon, my mom called. Of course. Sweetheart, she said, doing that fake soft tone moms use when they're about to guilt trip you. Sean said you were upset. You know he didn't mean to hurt Ellie's feelings. Mom, I said. He threw something at her. Well, he didn't throw it, he just... Mom. It hit her face. Silence. Then that sigh. You're too sensitive, honey. You've always been dramatic, and that right there was the moment I realized my parents weren't going to change. They didn't care about right or wrong. They just cared about keeping the money flowing. That night, Sean blew up my phone, texts, voicemails, even a Facebook post that said, "Some people forget where they came from." The irony almost made me choke on my coffee. By the next morning, Lane, the lender guy who handled Sean's loan, emailed me. Missed payments, default warnings, legal steps, all that. My signature was still on the paperwork, but I remembered that BMW sitting in his driveway, shiny and smug like him. So I made one call. Lane said, "If you want, we can reclaim the asset tied to the loan." "Do it," I said. And that was the first domino. I didn't tell Sean. I didn't warn him. I just waited for the repo truck to show up at 10 a.m. sharp. His fancy little I'm a businessman car getting towed right out from under his ego. That was the morning he finally realized I wasn't bluffing. And the best part? That was just the beginning. Because once you stop being everyone's ATM, you find out real fast who was there for love. And who was just there for the withdrawals. Oh, and trust me, when the repo truck rolled up, you should have seen his face. But I'll tell you all about that in part 4, because that's when the real chaos started. You ever have one of those mornings where the air just feels different? Like the calm right before a storm? Yeah, that was me. Coffee in hand, sitting by the window, watching the repo truck crawl down the street like karma on 4 wheels. It was 9:57 a.m. I'd been counting down. Ellie was at school, and I was logged off work for my personal day. The engine rumbled low as the truck slowed in front of Sean's house. Same beige stucco box he bragged about buying with his business profits. Ha ha ha. Sure, buddy, I couldn't see him at first. But I heard it. That yell, pure disbelief. Yo, what the hell are you doing? The repo guy didn't even blink. Professional, calm, hooked that BMW in less than 3 minutes. Sean ran out barefoot, wearing basketball shorts and that stupid linen shirt from the party. He's waving his arms, voice cracking. "You can't take that. That's my car." The driver goes, "Sir, you're 3 months delinquent on your loan. You can call the lender." Sean's like, "My sister's name is on it. She wouldn't let this happen." Oh, the irony. I literally sipped my coffee as I heard that line echo down the block. He pulled out his phone, calling me, of course. I let it ring. Then another call. Then another. By the 5th one, I finally answered, mostly out of curiosity. "Are you insane?" he screamed. "They're taking my car. You can fix this," I said real calm. "No, Sean, I did fix it." Silence. Then, "You're ruining my life." "Funny," I said. That's exactly how Ellie felt when you threw her gift at her face. Click. Hung up. By noon, Mom called. "Your brother's beside himself," she said, voice all tight like she'd been crying, or pretending to. "You can't just let them take his vehicle. He needs it for work." "Work?" I laughed. "Mom, he hasn't had a real job in years. He's your brother." She snapped. "Yeah," I said. "And I'm his lender." Big difference. She gasped like I'd just confessed to a felony. But I didn't back down this time. That afternoon, the texts started rolling in, family group chat blowing up. Cousins chiming in with popcorn emojis, an aunt asking, "What happened?" Sean posting a half-truth story on Facebook about betrayal and greed. Oh, please. Dude should have tagged me directly if he wanted attention. Meanwhile, I was at peace for the first time in years. That night, Ellie helped me make tacos, humming to herself. She was lighter, like she could finally feel that the bad energy had left our orbit. When we sat down to eat, she looked up and said, "Mom, Uncle Sean's car got taken?" I blinked. "Where'd you hear that?" "Grandma posted it on Facebook." "Of course she did." I sighed. "Yeah, sweetie, it did. Sometimes when people don't do the right thing, the universe kind of balances it out." She nodded, thoughtful, then said, "Like karma." "Exactly like karma." She smiled, a real one this time. Good. That hit me harder than I expected. My little girl had carried that moment from the party like a bruise in her heart, and now she finally got a piece of justice. But here's the thing. Karma doesn't stop at one round. Once the first domino falls, the rest start tumbling whether you're ready or not. 2 days later, Mom and Dad's landlord called me. Said the rent hadn't cleared. Said they'd been avoiding calls. Said an eviction notice was already printed. I didn't flinch. "Send it," I told him, because I'd spent 8 years saving everyone but myself, and I was done paying for people who never paid me respect. But what happened after that? Oh, it got messy. Like, front yard, neighbors filming, cops showing up kinda messy, and you better believe Sean didn't take losing his king of the family title quietly. You think the car repo was bad? Wait till you hear what he did next. You ever think you've hit the peak of drama, and then the universe goes, "Hold my beer"? Yeah, that was the week after the repo. I figured Sean would cool off once the shock wore off, maybe even apologize. Yeah, right. By Friday, he'd gone full soap opera villain. It started with a text. "You ruined my life. I'm coming over." I just stared at the screen, muttered, "Aw, hell no," and double-checked the smart lock. Ellie was in her room drawing, earbuds in, humming to herself. I kept my voice calm, but inside, my pulse was doing jumping jacks. An hour later, bang, bang, bang. Front door rattled like thunder. I peeked through the Ring camera and yep, there he was. Shirt half-tucked, eyes wild, pacing like a caged bull. "Open the door, Nadia. We're talking about this right now." Talking wasn't exactly the vibe he was giving. I cracked the window just enough to be heard. "You need to leave, Sean. You canceled Mom and Dad's rent. They got a 3-day notice. You think you can just walk away from this family?" "Sean, I did walk away," I said. "On purpose." He stomped closer. "You owe us." There it was, the magic phrase. You owe us. Like my entire existence was a debt collector's record. My hands shook, but my voice didn't. "I don't owe you a thing." He started shouting, stuff about how I was heartless, selfish, money-hungry. Then, the one that really stung. Dad said he should have helped me instead of you, 'cause at least I'm loyal. That one hit different. I felt the anger crawl up my neck. 8 years of late-night transfers, 8 years of "don't worry, I got it," and loyalty was the hill they wanted to die on. I took a deep breath and said, "Sean, you're drunk or stupid. Probably both. Go sleep it off." He slammed his fist against the door. "You can't do this to family." That's when Ellie screamed from the hallway, "Mom!" That sound flipped a switch. I grabbed my phone and hit record through the door's peephole. "Sean," I said, "you're trespassing. Leave now or I'm calling the cops." He laughed, this ugly, nervous laugh. "Oh, you gonna call the police on your own, brother? Go ahead, make me famous, so." I did. 5 minutes later, red and blue lights bounced across the living room walls. Two officers stepped out, hands resting near their holsters. Sean froze, his confidence draining faster than beer at a frat party. "Sir," one of them said, "you need to step off the porch." He tried to talk his way out of it, of course. Told them it was a family misunderstanding. The younger cop looked at me through the window and mouthed, "You okay?" I nodded. They walked him to the curb, had a little chat, then escorted him to his car. He pointed back at the house like a kid tattling on a playground. "She's turning everyone against me." "Yeah, buddy, I didn't need to. Your actions did that all by themselves." When the lights finally faded, Ellie was curled up on the couch, blanket over her knees. "Is Uncle Sean going to jail?" she whispered. "Not tonight," I said softly, brushing her hair back. "But he just made sure he's not coming back here again." That night, I filed a restraining order. My hands shook while typing, but it felt right, like locking the last door to an old haunted house. Over the next few days, silence settled in. No calls, no posts, no guilt trips, just quiet. The kind of quiet you don't realize you've been craving until you finally hear it. Then, one morning, an envelope showed up in my mailbox. No return address, just my name and shaky handwriting. Inside, 3 photos. One of Mom and Dad sitting outside their house, eviction notice taped to the door. One of Sean looking straight into the camera, smirking. And one handwritten line at the bottom, "Happy now?" For a second, I just stared at it. My stomach turned, but not from guilt, from disbelief. They really wanted to play victim after all this. I slid the photos into a folder marked receipts. Literally, because this story wasn't over. Oh no. Sean wasn't done testing how far he could push before everything collapsed. For him, and for the people still enabling him. And the next thing he pulled? Phew. Let's just say the cops showing up that night weren't the last surprise at my door. You think that was the end? Nah, the real explosion was just getting started. 2 weeks. That's how long it took before everything finally hit rock bottom. I hadn't heard a peep from Sean since the cops escorted him off my porch. The restraining order was filed, my phone blissfully quiet, and Ellie, she was sleeping through the night again. The house finally felt like a home, not a pressure cooker. Then one Saturday morning, I got an email from Lane, the loan officer, the guy who'd handled Sean's pottery shop loan. Subject line, "Notice of default, final action." I opened it, and there it was, the official repossession notice, the auction receipt, and the remaining balance Sean still owed. They were filing a wage garnishment order. It was like reading the final chapter of a book I never wanted to write. I forwarded it to my lawyer and thought, that's it. Curtain closed. But man, Sean doesn't do quiet endings. That same afternoon, my ring cam pinged. Movement at the driveway. I opened the feed and my heart dropped. There he was again. He looked wrecked. Hair greasy, eyes bloodshot, a paper bag in one hand. He stumbled closer, talking to himself, muttering words I couldn't make out. I froze for a split second, then yelled through the mic, "Sean, you're violating a restraining order. Leave, now." He looked straight into the camera, smirked and said, "You can't hide forever." Sis, that's when I hit 911. The dispatcher's voice was calm. Rehearsed, like she'd heard it all before. "Units are on the way, ma'am. Stay inside. Keep the door locked." Ellie was upstairs, her bedroom light still on. I ran up, whispered, "Stay in your room, honey. Lock the door, okay?" She nodded, wide-eyed, clutching her stuffed fox. Downstairs, the pounding started again. Boom, boom, boom. The sound made my chest rattle. He was yelling now, nonsense about ruined lives and family turning cold. I could see flashing lights pulling up outside. 2 cruisers. The officers jumped out, hands raised. "Sir, step away from the door." Sean hesitated, then threw up his hands. "I just want to talk." "Turn around," one officer barked. He didn't move fast enough. They cuffed him right there on the porch. The sound of metal clicking shut, sweetest sound I'd heard in years. They took his statement, asked if I wanted to press charges for the violation. "Absolutely," I said. When the cruiser pulled away, Ellie came downstairs, wrapped in her blanket. "Is Uncle Sean going to jail this time?" "Yeah, baby," I said quietly. and maybe that's what it's going to take for him to learn. That night, the house was silent. No knocks, no calls, no guilt. Just peace, the kind that hums softly, like white noise after years of chaos. Over the next month, I focused on rebuilding. Canceled the last of the family autopays, changed my number, even updated my work emergency contacts. For the first time since forever, my paycheck actually stayed mine. Ellie started smiling more. She joined a woodworking club at school. Yeah, the same thing that started this whole mess. She made a jewelry box again, only this time she said, "It's for me." I nearly cried right there in the kitchen. And me? I started therapy, learned that saying no doesn't make you heartless. It makes you human. Learned that sometimes family isn't blood, it's boundaries. Then one afternoon, a letter came from the county court. Sean had taken a plea deal, guilty on disorderly conduct and violation of the restraining order. 30 days jail, 1 year probation, mandatory counseling. I sat there staring at that paper, not smiling, not angry, just finished. For the first time in 8 years, I wasn't carrying anyone else's mistakes. The next morning, Ellie made pancakes shaped like hearts. We ate them on the porch, sunlight spilling across the yard. She looked up and said, "Mom, does this mean we're free now?" I swallowed hard. "Yeah, sweetheart, we are." And for a moment, it really felt like that. But freedom has a way of stirring up the past. And just when I thought it was over, something landed in my mailbox that made my stomach drop all over again. A single envelope. No name. No return address. Inside was a photo, Sean standing outside my parents' new place. And a note that read, "You can't ignore family forever." Yeah, guess round 2 was coming. You ever get that feeling that peace isn't quiet, it's earned? Yeah, that's what it felt like. Weeks passed after that last letter. I didn't respond. Didn't call. Didn't drive by my parents' place. Didn't even ask around. I'd spent too many years trying to fix people who didn't want to be fixed. This time, silence was my message. And let me tell you, silence? It's loud when you're used to chaos. At first, it was weird. Mornings without my phone buzzing. No drama texts. No guilt trips from mom saying, "Your brother's trying, sweetheart." Just me, my kid, and the sound of a coffee machine. Peace felt foreign, like wearing new shoes that didn't quite fit yet. Then slowly, I started to love it. Ellie would come home from school and show me her new wood projects. Little things, birdhouses, key racks, picture frames. She even rebuilt that broken box from the party, painted it the same teal, glued on new gems. But this time, she wrote one word inside the lid in black Sharpie. Boundaries. When I saw that, I swear I teared up. My 8-year-old learned something it took me nearly 40 years to figure out. Love without limits isn't love, it's servitude. Work got better too. I wasn't exhausted all the time. My boss noticed, gave me a raise, said, "You've got this quiet focus lately." Ha ha ha, if only she knew. That quiet focus was just me not bleeding emotionally every payday. Mom tried reaching out once. Called from a new number, left a voicemail that started sweet and ended sour. "We didn't raise you to be cold-hearted, Nadia. Family takes care of family." I listened once, then deleted it. Because here's the truth. I was taking care of family. The one that actually depended on me, Ellie. Not the grown adults who weaponized guilt every time their bad choices caught up to them. And Sean? He stayed quiet for a while. Probation'll do that to a man. I heard through a cousin that he was working delivery gigs, sleeping on a friend's couch, still spinning sob stories about how I destroyed his life. Maybe I did. Maybe tearing away someone's safety net feels like destruction when they never plan to stand on their own. But you know what? That's not my weight to carry anymore. One Sunday morning, Ellie and I went hiking up Sabino Canyon. The sun was blazing, air thick with that desert smell, dust and sagebrush. Halfway up the trail, she stopped, looked back at the valley below and said, "Mom, do you ever miss them?" I stood there for a long second, thought about Mom's sighs, Dad's silence, Sean's smirk, that broken box in the grass. I finally said, "I miss who I thought they were." She nodded like she understood. And honestly, maybe she did. Kids see more than we give them credit for. We kept climbing, step after step, and with everyone, I felt lighter. Later that night, back home, I took that last photo, the one of Sean outside my parents' new place, and fed it through the shredder. Strip by strip, that part of my life disappeared. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need closure. I just needed peace. And maybe that's what growing up really is. Realizing peace doesn't show up when everyone apologizes. It shows up when you stop waiting for them to. Now, our house feels different. Laughter comes easy. The fridge hums instead of my nerves. The air smells like pancakes and sawdust from Ellie's projects. Every now and then, I'll get an unknown number calling late at night. I let it ring. No curiosity left, no anger either. Just calm, because I already know how that story goes. Sometimes walking away isn't cruel, it's courageous. It's saying, "I love you, but I love my sanity more." And if you ever find yourself paying for other people's peace while bankrupting your own, take it from me, cut the cord, cancel the auto pay, and walk, because family isn't who drains you. Family's who refills you. And trust me, once you taste that kind of quiet, you'll never let anyone take it away again.